Hello guys, I'm Texas Warrior, and I'm here today to tell you all about a deck that I've been binging the absolute crud out of. Um, it's a bit of a crazy deck if you... Oh, when I was playing versus friends, but... Um, so it's a giant skeleton clone deck with Night Witch, LJ, Archers, Valky, Baby Dragon, Zap. So I have been on a phenomenal streak with this deck. I have reached my new career high of 4676. Over the last 3 days, I've gone from a little like about 4100, 4200, all the way up over 4600. And in the span of 40 games, to be exact, I of my last 40 games, I believe I'm at 28, 11, and 1. So I've been keeping track of that, and it feels phenomenal. This deck is insane because you throw down a giant skeleton, you throw the Night Witch behind it, you throw that LJ down, and you clone all of it. It's just it runs through opponents. And let me find it. Here, I'll just show the replay of me actually reaching my new career high at 4676. Uh, I don't know. This deck, like, it isn't always like it has hard counters such as Tornado XE and a few other things that make this deck really hard to function, but you can still work around it most of the time. So I don't know. I'll let the gameplay speak. So I start out with Archers in the back, just trying to slow roll and get going, and Night Witch to counter the Valky. Well, I want to keep my Night Witch alive because she's really the key card of the deck. Like, the bats and having that extra help is so key in like most scenarios with this deck. Now here, just we're at a lull in the game and just gonna drop a giant skeleton in the back. Not really seeing anything to counter it quite yet, so I'm just gonna follow up with push and clone because to try and like push as much damage as possible. So here, the two baby dragons are going to just eat on his tower, but those barbs are going to get away out of that giant skeleton bomb, so he's going to also get a lot of damage back on me, causing both towers to be under 1,000 already early in this game, before even hitting double elixir. So he's up on elixir on me. I'm at... So Valky's just going to keep going, ignore the hog, while the hog just eats my tower. He's out, so I'm like, decide to push as hard as I can after the zap, feeling like I can maybe get in there and get that tower. Unfortunately, however, the cannon and the just gets me. And this was a bad play on my part, putting the archers there to try and push, but it distracted my opponent and it bought me time. So I'm going to ignore this Valky, not really caring about her. Planning to push the opposite lane because I know I can maybe push the opposite lane and sneak in damage on that left side later. Well, he puts barbarians down. I don't know why he put them down offensively. I don't know if maybe he expected something different, but I'm able to just shut it down with the Valky and the baby dragon. So here's where the power of the deck comes in. So just clone and just Night Witches, just absolute, like, clone Night Witch, like as you saw there, just shred through that tower. So now it's a 1-1 game, and I'm very much favored at this point because, well, his tower's at 300 as compared to my 3,000 and 2,300. So I just set down the Valky and archers, make sure they can't touch my tower before starting the push on this opposite side here. So LJ's gonna lay down the house and lock me in, and this clone, and that notice that one bat just kind of chipping the tower right there, sneaking in behind the barbarians, and while the king tower and the main tower were distracted with the bats on the king, and I snuck out the win. So as you can see, the deck like even versus like hog poison, can work well if they don't do the best. I'll also show this other replay, the game leading up to that, where I played against three muskets, giant three muskies, because I will say the pump decks are a little bit harder to deal with because I have no interaction with pump. I only have zap. I don't have fireball or anything like that. So I have to navigate around their troops more and play a split game of offense and defense. So as always, I start with split archers or either a night witch in the back, if I can, because it's something to get the game rolling, and usually you can get away with it. So I'm going to clone this here because I want to melt the giant, and I was hoping to get a counter push on him. Unfortunately, though, with the zap, it does shut down that push, but the Valkyrie's able to clean up the musketeers on the other side. So Valkyrie's going in there. She's going to get more value. It will kill most of this goblin gang for me, putting me in a slight elixir lead, which is going to be crucial in this match. Getting ahead early is very key, especially when he's just going to slam the pump here. So I go Night Witch in the back, and he slams the pump down when he gets to 10 elixir. So now I'm like, okay, he's low on elixir. I'm going to slam the giant skeleton, may follow up with the baby dragon or the archers, and just push as hard as I can. So he pulled the giant to split my units. Well, I gain both the giant skeleton and all four of the archers. Well, Zap really does quite a great job of shutting down everything. However, I still have a mainly full health giant skeleton. So that LJ is just going to get in there. Zap's going to come down. He's going to clean up that goblin gang. And LJ is just going to take that tower for me. And I'm up on elixir. There's a giant coming towards my side. And that giant skeleton that's been around for 30 seconds or more is still up, fighting his way towards their tower. Sure, he's at half health now, but he's still alive after all this. It's kind of ridiculous. So right here, I'm going to clone. Make sure that that one giant skeleton bomb can make it to the tower. And I'm just going to kind of chip away here and let it play out. I'm going to defend that left side with a lumberjack, night witch, and drop the Valkyrie on the other side. So Valkyrie's going to clean up those muskies, and the zap is just going to easily clean up that minion horde. Now I'm going to place archers, and as well as the baby dragon on that right side, just to make sure that they can't get the tower. But see, while he's trying to push a tower to try and make sure he can win the game or stay in it, lumberjack and night witch are just able to take out that opposite side, opposite left push while he's distracted. Since, you know, being a tower up with this deck is just really good, because then you can just easily, like, leftover troops that had survived the previous encounter will make it to their tower. Now, I'm not going to do a live battle, mainly because I'm making this just to show the potential of this deck and maybe get behind it. As I said, like, I did lose games here and there. I did have a 5-game losing streak at one point, like right in here, but at that point I was like 16 or 14 or 1-1, and I lost 5 games straight. So I jumped from like 4,200 to 46, and like I'd reached 46. Maybe I can show. Yeah, 4609, as you can see. So I mean, I reached all the way, took my 5-game losing streak, and then quickly came back with a 4-game win streak and started pushing back up again. So I'm going to see if I can find me a match versus Golem that I won, because Golem is also a very difficult matchup. Fortunately, it doesn't look like I've played one recently. Although it's a bit of a pain to fight, but it definitely is winnable if you can chain everything with the clone, because it just shuts down the golem so well. Well, here I lost because of the counter push with E-Barbs. I do remember that. I ran out of elixir and the E-Barbs just thrashed me. But here, we're going to do one more replay, and then we're going to call good. What's a good replay here? Trying to find one that is relatively difficult. Now I'm back at the top. Don't want the giant. No, I want the minor one here. Because Zap Deity kind of like mortar decks are with the Ice Golem are a little bit interesting because Ice Golem, Zap, all that does ruin clone really, really badly for me. Because they can just drop the troop down and while everything's focused on it, it'll just, die and completely stop my units from getting all the extra value. So I start with archers in the back as always, if possible. When I don't have Night Witch Giant Skeleton to push from a lane. So you see I always hover the clone, always touch on it, think about it, because if Giant Skeleton get in range of that tower, even for a second, the clone just is absolutely brutal. And here's what I was referring to about, that Ice Golem kind of just ruining my day, because that was a absolute tower down if that Ice Golem hadn't killed hadn't stalled long enough for them to take damage and as well kill the clones. So right now I'm down on Elixir by quite a bit. They also have minor minion horde goblin gang to defend. So it really isn't looking that great for me. Luckily, I predict with the baby dragon, knowing he has a lot of zap bait cards, so knowing that the splash will come in handy. So I go aggressive with the LJ, zapping here, which I zapped just early to where I didn't get the bats in that zap, and it really punishes me hard here, making my tower go way low, knocking it down to 185. A bit brutal counter push, but it was a good play on their part. If I had just waited one more second, I would have had a very good zap lined up. But honestly, in the end, it was fine. Now, this right here confused me. I kind of understood it because at this point, you're just kind of more worried about being defensive since you have the miner for chip to win the game. Well, I'm going to come in hard here, get the entire squad together, need miners in the back. So, and then clone. Got the Night Wish, the LJ, the Baby Dragon, all of it just charging in at him. And right here I zap, hitting both half the bats and the minion horde, making it where I'm able to get this tower and keep myself in this game. So now I have an Elixir lead after all that because they were really trying hard to make sure I didn't get that tower. That way they wouldn't have to go to OT. And so I'm just going to start off with a giant skeleton in the back, do exactly what I did in the previous push, just set up everything to, just overcome them. So I clone here, mainly for the LJ Rage, because it is insanely good in this deck. That Rage does more than most people would think. So, giant skeleton bomb gets the power, baby dragon cleans up the minion horde and all the bats and all them. So he comes in with a minor goblin gang. I place down the Valky in a position to both hit the goblins as they come in and hit the miner. So now I'm coming in and I'm going to drop the Night Witch in. Or I drop... No, never mind. I remembered incorrectly. I thought I dropped the LJ in on that mortar. Either way, I just keep shoving in. Now I do. And I'm going to push in here, and I believe I'm going to get the tower on this push. Because they're just unable to deal with everything that's coming in at them. You just kind of... Zap bait style like that, having the baby dragon is insanely good. It runs over once it's cloned, because it's just hitting everything and everything. It's just mowing them down. As well as you have all those units just flooding in with rage. So, anyways, guys, that's my fun little giant skeleton Night Witch clone deck that I have been absolutely in love with. I know I may not be the best commentator, but Man, this deck is so fucking fun. Like, excuse my language, but it is an absolute blast to play. And getting sneaky clones in and just dropping skelly bombs down to win the game is just so satisfying. I recommend this deck to anyone that's willing to give it a chance and try and learn the playstyle. I will say pushing the left lane is typically better because if they have Inferno Towers or other buildings, the clone will push the giant skeleton clones and all that to the right. So a lot of times you can sneak your real units down to the left so they won't target on those center units and they'll actually go directly to the tower. As well as things like the giant skeleton bomb will actually blow up on the Inferno Tower, keeping your units alive or on those buildings. Anyways, guys, as always, I'm Texas Warrior, and I hope to see you all in the next one.